I really want to just talk a little bit about how thoughtful you are as you expand, as you open up new restaurants, and particularly here at Marcus B&P, and how you maintain authenticity. So can you tell me a little bit about what goes through your mind
Sure.
when you're opening up a new restaurant?
Well, we first of all, we know nowhere and nothing without the staff, whether it's from the dishwasher to the GM, right? So, but even through, if we back up, even 3-4 years, when we decide to do a restaurant, the team, we think about culturally what was here before, what made it iconic, what was the different steps of this particular community went through, and we want to be part of and understand that process. We can look at churches, we can look at civil rights movements, we can look at something like Audible comes in here and brings a whole new other technology entity to the place. So we look at both from the community, from spirituality, culture, and entrepreneurship. And then around that, we then start thinking about what was the locals and what was the immigrant community and how do they build it collectively together. So when you look at something like Ironbound, you're staring at America. A great, diverse story of business community, entrepreneurs, hardworking, weak people coming together, and a lot of them brought their food and their culture. So our menu reflects that. The African American community, the Italian American, the Cuban American, the Portuguese American, and we do our interpretation of that comfort food. And it's a long process. There's so many parts of the puzzle that needs to fit. At day one, they won't all fit, but that's why we talk a lot about humility. And Chris has been a great guide and leader in this. He started with us at Red Rooster and sort of started to understand the culture of Harlem and how we work. And then it's really about soaking that up and then sort of how does that fit to here.
Right. And to that point, I mean, it's really important that the staff that works the closest with you not only have a really deep understanding and appreciation for your voice, for your standards, for what you're trying to execute, but also have a really deep understanding and appreciation for the local community.
Absolutely.
And merging the two.
Yeah.
Can you talk about why or how you were able to accomplish that with the leadership team here and the management team?
Yeah, it's really about creating something that is exciting to be around, right? I feel like people are so excited about going to work as long as they're working for something and that is larger than themselves. And this is larger than ourselves. This is something that hopefully can be a legacy work where I always think about the young talent that would come out of this place. More things can come out of here than what goes into it, and they're highly correlated. So maybe the next generation of restaurants in Newark, they start in the bar here, in the kitchen here, or on the floor here, and 3 years later they go on and open their own business. Well, I look at that as a sign of success. So it's also, I worked all over the world and have that luxury. So now it's time for me to sort of, inspire the next generation and figure out, how can we do it and what is locally relevant? And Leah, Chris, so many other people, Mike, Brendan, all these guys, they push me every day about what we should do and what is the relevant conversation, whether it's musically, art, food, beverage, and you never stop learning.
Right. Chris, I'm really curious to hear from you, having worked at other restaurants and other spaces, and wonderful spaces, what is so exciting to you about being here?
Well, one, Marcus, and being a fan, and honestly, in our industry, there's not many people who look like me, who are not only exceeding, but creating lanes for individuals like me. So if you know anything about what I like to do is to further the learning process with the community, to further the learning process with my team. And I think, he believing in me and giving me the tools to do so, it was a perfect marriage, It's what this is all about. I can't succeed, we don't succeed without our team succeeding. And from then it just trickles on to everything else. So
one of the things that Newark historically is known for, whether it's widely known or not, is innovation. You know, whether it be the Seth Boydens and the Thomas Edisons or whatnot, just throughout history, Newark has been an epicenter of innovation. Tell me how you look forward to innovating from what this original concept is, and building out.
No, but that's a you know, innovation happens on many levels, and traditionally immigrant or African American communities are highly entrepreneurial, and the communities knows that, but maybe the outside community don't know about that. Just come from the train, walk on Broad Street, and you have everybody from selling the street vendors are selling something, and it's what people need, otherwise they wouldn't be there. Right. That for me is entrepreneurial. That's being a merchant, to be inspired by something as big as Audible, that is obviously, there was a missing need, there was a void there, and then how do you bring technology to it? Obviously on a very different level, but I'm drawn and inspired by both. So when we meet something like AeroFarms that has technology and innovation to its core, the fact that we can have that in our restaurant, or we have hazelnuts on some of the dishes, well, those hazelnut producers are all local.
Right.
Or honey that is made across the street.
Right.
Or the people came up with our logo, they worked 30 yards down. Mm-hmm. So living in an urban community like Harlem, I've always been around brilliant innovators and entrepreneurs that may or may not got the recognition that they should. So here I see many similarities to that in Newark, and they're all operating on different scope, but the commitment to the local community and looking at a void and figuring out how they can contribute to that, it's very similar.